Welcome to Sleepy Science Hub. As you settle in tonight, let me know where in the world and at what time you're watching. Perhaps you're tucked beneath soft blankets in a quiet bedroom, or maybe you're listening through headphones as the world winds down around you. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, you found your way here seeking rest, seeking understanding, seeking that gentle bridge between wakefulness and sleep. Now, get comfortable. Adjust your pillow, pull those covers just right, and take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders drop, let your jaw unclench, and allow yourself to sink a little deeper into wherever you're resting. Tonight, we're going to explore one of the most mysterious and beautiful processes your body performs every single day, the intricate, fascinating journey into sleep. And as we explore it together, you might just find yourself experiencing it firsthand. Long before you even think about climbing into bed, your body has already begun its quiet preparations for the night ahead. Like a theater company preparing for an evening performance, every system within you starts receiving its cues, responding to signals that have been refined over millions of years of evolution. This isn't a sudden switch from wake to sleep. It's a gradual, elegant transition that begins hours before your head touches the pillow. As the sun begins its descent toward the horizon, something remarkable happens in a tiny structure deep within your brain. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, your body's master clock, begins to detect the subtle changes in light filtering through your eyes. Even if you're indoors, even if you're not consciously aware of the shifting quality of daylight, this ancient timekeeper is monitoring every photon, every subtle shift in the spectrum of light that reaches you. You might notice, as evening approaches, that your energy begins to shift. Perhaps you find yourself reaching for a warm drink rather than that afternoon coffee. Maybe you feel drawn to dimmer lighting, switching off harsh overhead bulbs in favor of the soft glow of table lamps. Your body temperature, which peaked earlier in the day, begins its slow descent. This isn't the dramatic drop of fever breaking, but rather a gentle, almost imperceptible cooling that signals to every cell in your body that the time for rest is approaching. In your pineal gland, that small, pine cone-shaped structure nestled deep in your brain, the first whispers of melatonin begin to stir. As darkness deepens, this natural hormone starts its gentle release into your bloodstream, like a soft sedative being administered by your own internal pharmacy. The melatonin doesn't force you to sleep. Instead, it opens the door, creating the biological conditions that make sleep not just possible, but inviting. Your metabolism begins to slow, like a great machine gradually reducing its speed. The constant hum of cellular activity that has powered your day starts to quiet. Your heart rate, which may have peaked during your afternoon activities, begins to find its evening rhythm, still strong, still steady, but noticeably calmer. If you were to press your fingers to your wrist right now, you might notice this yourself. The slower, more measured pulse that signals your cardiovascular system is preparing for the night's restorative work. Your digestive system, too, receives its evening instructions. That late dinner you had begins its journey through your intestines, but the process slows, becomes more leisurely. Your body's wisdom knows that the intensive work of digestion should be largely complete before sleep begins. This is why eating too close to bedtime can feel disruptive. You're asking your digestive system to work overtime when it's trying to prepare for its own period of rest and repair. As these changes unfold, you might find your thoughts beginning to shift as well. The sharp focus required for daytime tasks starts to soften around the edges. Problems that seemed urgent earlier in the day may begin to feel less pressing. Your mind starts to disengage from the future-focused planning and past-focused analysis that dominates waking hours. Instead, you might find yourself drifting into that pleasant state of simply being present, simply existing in the quiet comfort of the evening. Your muscles, which have carried you through the day's activities, begin to release their accumulated tension. This doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual unwinding, like a tightly coiled spring slowly returning to its natural state. You might notice your shoulders dropping, your jaw unclenching, your hands relaxing from whatever unconscious fist they may have formed during the day's stresses. The very quality of your vision begins to change as evening deepens. Your pupils dilate slightly to gather more of the available light. But more importantly, your visual system begins to shift away from the sharp, detail-oriented processing of daylight hours. Colors may seem slightly less vivid, edges slightly softer. This isn't fatigue. It's your visual cortex beginning its transition toward the dream state processing that will soon take center stage. Even your sense of time starts to alter as these evening signals accumulate. Minutes may seem to stretch longer. The urgency of scheduled activities begins to fade. You might find yourself moving more slowly, not from tiredness, but from an innate understanding that the evening requires a different pace, a different quality of attention than the brightness of day. Your breathing, perhaps without your conscious awareness, begins to deepen and slow. Where your daytime breath might have been quick and shallow, focused on efficiency and energy, your evening breath starts to expand, filling your lungs more completely, nourishing your blood with the oxygen it will need for the night's repair work. Each exhale carries away not just carbon dioxide, but some of the day's accumulated stress and tension. This is the genius of your circadian rhythm. This internal clock that doesn't just tell time, but orchestrates the symphony of physiological changes that prepare you for sleep. It's responding to light and darkness, yes, but also to temperature, to social cues, to the meals you've eaten and the activities you've completed. Every aspect of your day contributes information to this master scheduler, helping it fine-tune the timing of your evening transition. As you lie there now, listening to these words, you're experiencing these very processes. Your melatonin levels are likely rising, your body temperature is naturally declining, and your heart rate is settling into its nighttime rhythm. The evening signals are flowing through you like a gentle current, preparing every system for the profound transformation that sleep will bring. Now we arrive at that mysterious threshold, that liminal space between the known world of waking consciousness and the vast, unexplored territory of sleep. You've prepared for this moment. Your body has been signaling its readiness for hours, every system aligned and waiting. Now comes the actual journey inward, the gentle surrender of conscious control that allows sleep to embrace you. Perhaps you're lying in your bed now, head resting on your pillow, covers drawn up to just the right level of warmth. Or maybe you're in a comfortable chair, or even just relaxing as you listen to these words. Wherever you are, you might notice that the transition from wakefulness to sleep doesn't happen all at once. It's not like flipping a light switch from on to off. Instead, it's more like the sun setting, a gradual dimming, a soft fade from one state of being to another. The first sign that sleep is approaching often comes in the form of what scientists call microsleeps. Tiny, almost imperceptible lapses in consciousness that last just a few seconds. You might not even notice them happening. One moment you're fully aware of your surroundings, tracking the sound of my voice or the feeling of your body against the mattress, and then suddenly you realize you've lost a few seconds, as if time itself briefly paused and resumed without your noticing. Your eyelids begin to feel heavier, not with fatigue exactly, but with a pleasant weightiness that makes keeping them open require just a little more effort than it did a few minutes ago. The muscles that control your eyelids are among the first to respond to sleep's gentle pull. They flutter occasionally, opening and closing in slow, irregular patterns as your brain begins to reduce the energy it sends to maintaining constant alertness. As your eyes close for longer and longer periods, something fascinating begins to happen to your visual experience. Even with your eyelids shut, you don't simply see blackness. Instead, you might notice subtle patterns of light and shadow, gentle swirls of color that have no external source. These are called phosphenes, the visual sensations created by your own neural activity as your visual cortex begins to shift from processing external images to generating its own internal experiences. Your hearing, meanwhile, begins to undergo its own transformation. External sounds don't disappear completely, but they start to feel more distant, less immediately relevant. The ticking of a clock that might have been distracting earlier now becomes part of the background rhythm, like a metronome guiding your descent into sleep. Your brain begins to filter sounds differently, maintaining just enough awareness to wake you if something truly important occurs, while allowing most sensations to simply flow past your consciousness like water flowing around a stone in a stream. Your sense of your physical body starts to change as well. The boundaries between yourself and your surroundings begin to soften. The mattress beneath you might seem to become part of you, or you might feel as though you're floating just slightly above it. Your arms and legs may feel heavier than usual, as if they're being gently pressed down by invisible hands. This isn't paralysis you could move if you chose to, but rather a peaceful heaviness that makes movement seem unnecessary, even undesirable. Your breathing continues its evening transformation, becoming even deeper and more regular than it was during your wakeful evening hours. Each breath now seems to come from deeper in your body, expanding your rib cage more fully, filling your lungs with the quiet satisfaction of complete oxygenation. The pause between your exhale and your next inhale may grow slightly longer, creating a natural rhythm that seems to sync with some deeper cosmic timing. Your heart rate continues its gentle decline, settling into what will soon become your sleeping heart rate. Still strong, still reliable, but noticeably slower than your daytime pace. If you focus on it now, you might feel it beating steadily in your chest, a calm and reassuring rhythm that will continue throughout the night, pumping blood through your body while your conscious mind rests. Temperature regulation becomes more important now. Your core body temperature, which has been declining since evening began, continues its descent. You might find yourself adjusting blankets or clothing almost automatically, seeking that perfect balance of warmth and coolness that allows sleep to deepen. Too warm, and your body will work to cool itself, potentially disrupting the sleep process. Too cool, and your muscles may tense to generate heat. But there's a perfect zone, and your body is remarkably skilled at finding and maintaining it. Your thoughts begin to change quality as well. Where your daytime thinking might have been linear and goal-oriented, your pre-sleep thoughts start to become more associative, more dreamlike. Ideas might flow from one to another without the logical connections that would have been essential during your waking hours. You might find yourself thinking about your childhood dog, then about the rain you heard yesterday, then about a conversation from weeks ago, each thought arising naturally from the one before in ways that don't quite make sense, but somehow feel perfectly reasonable. Memory consolidation has already begun, though you're not aware of it. Your brain has started the process of reviewing the day's experiences, deciding what's worth keeping and what can be safely discarded. Important information gets tagged for long-term storage, while trivial details begin to fade. This isn't a conscious process. It's happening automatically as your brain begins its nightly housekeeping routine. Your sense of time continues to stretch and distort. Minutes might feel like hours, or hours might pass in what seems like moments. The urgency that drives daytime awareness of schedules and deadlines begins to dissolve. There's nowhere you need to be except exactly where you are. Nothing you need to do except allow this natural process to unfold. The boundary between your internal world and the external environment becomes increasingly permeable. A sound from outside might briefly become incorporated into your thoughts, or even into the beginnings of dream imagery. The feeling of your blanket might transform into something else entirely in your mind's interpretation. Your brain is beginning to shift from its daytime mode of clearly distinguishing between self and world to the more fluid, creative state that will soon give rise to dreams. Physical sensations begin to feel different as well. Touch becomes less sharp, less immediate. The feeling of your body against the mattress might seem to come from a greater distance, as if the signals from your nerve endings are taking longer to reach your conscious awareness. Pain, if you had any, begins to fade as your brain reduces its attention to physical discomfort and increases its focus on restoration and repair. Your muscles continue their gradual relaxation, but now it goes deeper than simple tension release. Individual muscle fibers begin to lengthen and soften. Your joints settle into positions of minimum stress. Your spine, which has been supporting your upright posture all day, finally gets to decompress as gravity works with your horizontal position to create space between vertebrae and allow the soft tissues of your back to truly rest. As consciousness continues to dim, you might experience what's called a hypnic jerk, a sudden, brief muscle contraction that can momentarily startle you back toward wakefulness. This is completely normal, a remnant from our evolutionary past, when our ancestors might have needed to catch themselves from falling out of trees. If it happens, simply allow yourself to settle back in a relaxation, understanding that it's just your nervous system making one final check before allowing sleep to fully take hold. The descent into sleep is almost complete now. Your brain waves, which have been gradually slowing from the quick beta waves of active wakefulness through the relaxed alpha waves of quiet rest, are now approaching the theta rhythms that characterize the earliest stages of sleep. Soon, very soon, you'll cross that final threshold and enter the first true stage of sleep, leaving the waking world behind for the restorative journey that awaits. And here you are, crossing that invisible boundary between wakefulness and sleep. This is stage 1 of non-REM sleep, that gossamer thin state where consciousness hasn't quite departed but no longer maintains its firm grip on reality. If someone were to watch you now, they might see your breathing become even more regular, your facial muscles relax into complete stillness, and your body settle into a position it might maintain for the next several minutes or even longer. In this first stage of sleep, you exist in a fascinating liminal space. You're no longer awake, yet you're not deeply asleep either. It's as if you're floating in shallow, warm water, occasionally aware of the surface above you, but mostly content to drift in this peaceful suspension. Your brain waves have shifted into those gentle theta rhythms, cycling at about 4 to 7 times per second, much slower than the rapid beta waves that dominated your active day. This is the realm of hypnagogia, that strange and wonderful state where the boundaries between imagination and perception become beautifully blurred. You might begin to experience what sleep researchers call hypnagogic hallucinations, though that clinical term hardly captures the often lovely, surreal quality of these experiences. You might see colors that have no name, patterns that seem to breathe and flow like living things, or faces that appear and dissolve like reflections in moving water. Sometimes these visions are geometric, crystalline structures that build themselves in your mind's eye, then slowly rotate and transform into something entirely different. Other times they might be more representational, landscapes that shift and change as you observe them, familiar places from your past that somehow seem different, more fluid and alive than they ever were in waking memory. These aren't dreams in the traditional sense. There's something between dreams and thoughts, images that arise from the unique neural activity of this threshold state. You might also experience hypnagogic sounds, hearing music that isn't there, voices calling your name, or perhaps just abstract sounds like bells or running water. These auditory experiences can be remarkably vivid, sometimes clear enough to make you wonder if you actually heard something in your physical environment. Your brain is essentially practicing for the more elaborate sensory experiences that will come in later sleep stages, like a musician tuning their instrument before a performance. The sense of your physical body continues to transform in stage 1 sleep. You might experience what researchers call hypnagogic jerks or sleep starts, those sudden feelings of falling that can briefly startle you back toward wakefulness. These are completely normal and incredibly common. They happen because your brain is beginning to shut down the systems that maintain your sense of physical orientation and balance. As these systems go offline, your brain might briefly interpret the resulting sensations as falling, triggering a protective reflex that momentarily activates your muscles. If you do experience one of these gentle starts, notice how quickly your body settles back into relaxation. This is your nervous system's wisdom at work. It makes a quick check to ensure you're safe, then immediately returns to the process of falling asleep. It's like a security guard making one final round before settling in for the night watch. Your sense of time becomes even more elastic in stage 1 sleep. A few minutes might seem to stretch into hours, or what feels like a long period of dreaming might actually be just a few seconds of hypnagogic imagery. This distortion of temporal perception is one of the hallmarks of this threshold state. Your brain's internal clock, which keeps such precise time during waking hours, begins to operate by different rules as consciousness fades. Thoughts in stage 1 sleep take on a particularly fluid quality. They might begin with something perfectly logical, perhaps a memory from your day or a plan for tomorrow, but then transform gradually into something far more abstract or symbolic. You might find yourself thinking about flying, or about conversations with people who've been gone for years, or about situations that could never exist in the waking world, but somehow make perfect sense in this twilight state of consciousness. Your breathing during stage 1 sleep settles into an even more regular pattern than it had during your pre-sleep relaxation. Each breath comes from deep in your diaphragm, expanding your rib cage fully and slowly. The pause between exhale and inhale might become slightly longer, creating a natural rhythm that seems to sync with the slower brain waves now dominating your neural activity. This breathing pattern is one of the first signs that your autonomic nervous system has begun its shift into sleep mode. Your heart rate continues its gentle decline, settling into what will become your baseline sleeping heart rate. This isn't just a matter of reduced activity. Your cardiovascular system is actually optimizing itself for the different demands of sleep. Blood flow patterns begin to change, with more blood directed toward your brain and internal organs, and less toward your extremities. This is why your hands and feet might feel cooler during sleep, even under warm blankets. Temperature regulation becomes increasingly sophisticated during stage 1 sleep. Your core body temperature continues its carefully orchestrated decline, but now your body begins to make fine adjustments to maintain the optimal thermal environment for deep sleep. Your skin blood vessels dilate slightly to release heat, while your internal organs work to conserve the warmth they need for their overnight repair and maintenance functions. The muscles that were beginning to relax during your descent into sleep now enter a deeper state of rest. But this isn't complete muscle atonia. That will come later. In stage 1, your muscles are relaxed but still somewhat responsive. You might shift position occasionally or adjust your arms or legs without fully waking. Your body is learning to balance the need for rest with the need to maintain some level of responsiveness to your environment. Your brain begins its first tentative steps toward the memory consolidation that will become much more intensive in deeper sleep stages. The experiences of your day start to be sorted and categorized, though this process is still quite gentle in stage 1. Important information begins to be tagged for more permanent storage, while trivial details start to fade. This early memory processing might influence the content of your hypnagogic experiences, as fragments of recent events blend with older memories and pure imagination. Sensory processing changes dramatically during stage 1 sleep. Your brain begins to filter sensory input much more aggressively, allowing only the most important or unusual stimuli to reach your conscious awareness. A gentle, steady sound like a fan or air conditioner becomes part of the background and ceases to register consciously. But a sudden loud noise or someone calling your name would likely still wake you easily from this light stage of sleep. Your eyes behind closed lids might move occasionally in slow, rolling motions. These aren't the rapid eye movements that will characterize REM sleep later in the night. They're much slower and more infrequent. Sometimes called slow rolling eye movements, they're thought to be related to the hypnagogic imagery you might be experiencing, as if your eyes are gently tracking the visual experiences your mind is creating. The transition through stage 1 sleep typically lasts anywhere from a few minutes to about 10 minutes, though this can vary significantly from person to person and from night to night. Some people pass through this stage quickly, diving readily into deeper sleep, while others might linger here, enjoying the peaceful suspension between wake and sleep. There's no right or wrong way to experience stage 1. Your body knows exactly what it needs. As stage 1 sleep deepens, you might notice that the hypnagogic experiences become less frequent and less vivid. The visual and auditory phenomena that mark the beginning of this stage gradually fade as your brain prepares to shift into the next phase of the sleep cycle. Your breathing becomes even more regular, your heart rate settles to an even steadier rhythm, and your muscles relax just a little bit more. This is sleep's gentle introduction, its way of easing you from the familiar territory of waking consciousness into the strange and wonderful landscape of true sleep. Stage 1 is like standing on the shore of a vast, peaceful ocean, feeling the gentle waves lap at your feet before you wade deeper into waters that will restore and refresh you in ways that only sleep can provide. Now you drift deeper into sleep's embrace, leaving the threshold state behind as you enter stage 2 of non-REM sleep. This is where sleep begins to show its true protective power, where your brain constructs barriers around your consciousness to ensure that your rest remains undisturbed. If you could observe your own brain activity now, you would see something quite remarkable. The emergence of sleep spindles and K-complexes, the neural signatures that mark this deeper stage of peaceful slumber. Sleep spindles are among the most beautiful patterns your brain creates. They appear on brainwave recordings as brief bursts of rhythmic activity, lasting about half a second to 2 seconds and occurring every few seconds throughout stage 2 sleep. They get their name from their distinctive shape on the readout. They start small, grow larger and more intense, then fade away, much like the shape of a spindle used for spinning thread. These spindles are generated deep in your brain by a structure called the thalamus, which acts like a gatekeeper between the outside world and your conscious awareness. The creation of each sleep spindle represents your brain actively working to protect your sleep. When external sounds or other sensory information try to reach your consciousness, the thalamus generates these spindles to essentially block the signals from getting through. It's as if your brain is posting sentries at the gates of awareness, turning away all but the most urgent visitors. A sleep spindle might form in response to a car passing outside, or a door closing somewhere in your house, or even just random neural activity. Each one is your brain saying, "Not now, we're sleeping." Alongside these protective spindles, your brain also generates what scientists call K-complexes, large, slow waves that appear suddenly and dramatically on brain recordings. If sleep spindles are like gentle guards politely turning away visitors, K-complexes are like sturdy doors being firmly closed. They often occur in response to sounds or other stimuli that are just a bit more significant than those that trigger sleep spindles. You might generate a K-complex when a truck rumbles past outside, or when someone walks across the floor above you, or when the house settles with a creak. What's fascinating about K-complexes is that they serve a dual purpose. Not only do they help maintain your sleep by blocking potentially disruptive stimuli, but they also represent a brief moment when your brain checks in with the outside world. In the fraction of a second that a K-complex occurs, your brain quickly evaluates whether the stimulus that triggered it represents any real danger or importance. If it decides the sound or sensation is harmless, you remain asleep. If it determines that the stimulus requires your attention, it might begin the process of waking you up. This is the remarkable intelligence of stage 2 sleep. You're not simply unconscious or unaware. Instead, your brain has created a sophisticated filtering system that allows you to rest deeply while still maintaining a connection to your environment. It's like having a highly trained assistant who knows exactly which phone calls to put through and which ones can wait until morning. Your brain waves during stage 2 sleep are predominantly in the theta range, similar to stage 1. But now they're punctuated by these distinctive sleep spindles and K-complexes. The overall pattern is more organized, more rhythmic than the transitional patterns of stage 1. Your brain has settled into the work of sleep, and that work requires its own unique neural orchestration. The amount of time you spend in stage 2 sleep is substantial. It typically accounts for about 45 to 55% of your total sleep time, making it the stage you experience most throughout the night. This isn't time wasted in some shallow approximation of rest. Stage 2 sleep serves crucial functions in memory consolidation, physical restoration, and mental preparation for the deeper stages that will follow. Memory processing intensifies significantly during stage 2 sleep. Your brain begins to strengthen the neural pathways associated with important information from your day, while allowing less significant details to fade. This isn't a passive process. Your brain is actively deciding what deserves to be remembered and what can be forgotten. The sleep spindles themselves play a role in this process, helping to coordinate the communication between different brain regions involved in memory formation. You might be surprised to learn that much of your learning actually happens during stage 2 sleep. Information that seemed difficult to grasp during your waking hours often becomes clearer and more integrated into your existing knowledge during this stage. Skills you practice during the day are refined and strengthened. Problems you couldn't solve while awake sometimes reveal their solutions through the unique neural processing that occurs in stage 2 sleep. Your body continues its own restoration work during this stage. Cellular repair processes that began in stage 1 sleep become more intensive. Your immune system increases its activity, producing more of the proteins and antibodies that help fight off infections and maintain your health. Growth hormone, which plays a crucial role in tissue repair and regeneration, begins to be released in larger quantities, preparing for the even more intensive restoration that will occur in the deeper stages of sleep ahead. Temperature regulation becomes even more precise during stage 2 sleep. Your core body temperature continues its gentle decline, but now your body fine-tunes this process with remarkable accuracy. Your skin blood vessels adjust their dilation to release just the right amount of heat. Your extremities might become noticeably cooler as blood flow is redirected to your core organs and brain. This thermal management isn't just about comfort. It's an essential part of creating the optimal conditions for the cellular repair work that sleep enables. Your breathing during stage 2 sleep settles into an even more regular rhythm than in stage 1. Each breath is measured and steady, coming from deep in your diaphragm and fully oxygenating your blood. The oxygen will be crucial for the intensive cellular repair work happening throughout your body. Carbon dioxide is efficiently removed, helping to maintain the precise acid-base balance your cells need to function optimally during their nighttime maintenance routines. Your heart rate reaches what will likely be its slowest point of the night during stage 2 sleep, though will slow even further in the deep sleep stages to come. This reduced heart rate isn't a sign of distress. It's your cardiovascular system optimizing itself for the different demands of sleep. Your heart doesn't need to pump as vigorously to meet the reduced metabolic demands of your sleeping body, allowing it to work more efficiently and giving it a chance to rest and repair itself. The muscles throughout your body continue to relax during stage 2 sleep, though you still retain the ability to move and change positions. You might shift from side to side occasionally or adjust your arms and legs, all without fully waking up. These movements are often coordinated with the lighter moments between sleep cycles, allowing you to maintain physical comfort while preserving the continuity of your sleep. Digestive processes slow significantly during stage 2 sleep, as your body redirects energy away from processing food and towards cellular repair and restoration. If you ate earlier in the evening, the final stages of digestion continue at a leisurely pace, but your body is no longer actively seeking food or preparing for the intensive work of breaking down a meal. This is one reason why eating too close to bedtime can be disruptive. It forces your digestive system to work actively when it's trying to enter its own rest phase. Your brain's glymphatic system, its waste removal network, begins to increase its activity during stage 2 sleep, preparing for the intensive cleaning work that will occur in deeper sleep stages. Cerebrospinal fluid starts to flow more freely through your brain tissue, beginning the process of washing away the metabolic waste products that accumulated during your day of thinking, learning, and simply being conscious. Hormone production and regulation become increasingly important during stage 2 sleep. Melatonin levels remain elevated, helping to maintain your sleep state and coordinate the various biological processes that occur during rest. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, reaches its lowest levels of the day, allowing your body to shift fully away from the alertness and responsiveness of waking hours and into the restoration and repair mode of sleep. The transition from stage 2 to the deeper stages of sleep ahead is gradual and gentle. Your sleep spindles and K-complexes continue their protective work, but they begin to be interspersed with slower, larger brain waves that herald the approach of deep sleep. Your body temperature continues its careful decline, your breathing becomes even more steady and deep, and your muscles relax just a little bit more. This is sleep beginning to show its true restorative power. Stage 2 is where your brain and body start the serious work of repair, restoration, and consolidation that will continue and intensify throughout the night. You're no longer hovering at the edge of sleep. You've waded deeper into its healing waters, and the most profoundly restorative stages still lie ahead. And now you descend into the deepest waters of sleep, in a stage 3, also known as slow-wave sleep or deep sleep. This is the most restorative stage of our nightly journey, the time when your body performs its most intensive repair work and your brain engages in its most thorough housekeeping. If stage 2 was like wading into peaceful waters, stage 3 is like sinking into a warm, healing bath that reaches every cell in your body with its restorative power. Your brain waves have transformed dramatically now. Gone are the mixed patterns of the lighter sleep stages, replaced by the slow, powerful delta waves that give this stage its alternative name of slow-wave sleep. These delta waves cycle at less than 4 times per second, incredibly slow compared to the rapid beta waves of your active waking hours. On a brainwave recording, they appear as large, rolling hills of electrical activity, each wave representing millions of neurons firing in perfect synchronization. This synchronization is remarkable. During your waking hours, different parts of your brain operate somewhat independently, each region focused on its own specialized tasks. But in deep sleep, vast networks of neurons begin to fire together in these slow, coordinated waves. It's as if your brain has shifted from being a bustling city with traffic moving in all directions to being a perfectly choreographed symphony, with every instrument playing in harmony. These synchronized delta waves serve a crucial purpose beyond just marking deep sleep. They actually drive many of the restorative processes that make sleep so essential for your health and well-being. Each slow wave helps coordinate the flow of cerebrospinal fluid through your brain, washing away waste products that accumulated during your day of conscious activity. It's like a gentle tide that rises and falls, carrying away the cellular debris that would otherwise interfere with optimal brain function. Your breathing during deep sleep becomes remarkably steady and efficient. Each breath is deeper and more complete than during the lighter stages of sleep, filling your lungs fully and providing your blood with the oxygen it needs for the intensive cellular repair work now taking place throughout your body. The rhythm is so regular it's almost hypnotic, a slow, measured pattern that continues steadily throughout this stage, requiring no conscious effort or attention from you. Your heart rate reaches its slowest point of the night during deep sleep, but this isn't a sign of distress or weakness. Instead, it's your cardiovascular system operating at peak efficiency. With your body's metabolic demands at their lowest, your heart can work less strenuously while still providing adequate circulation to all your organs and tissues. This gives your heart muscle itself a chance to rest and repair, maintaining the strength it needs to serve you faithfully through decades of life. Blood pressure drops significantly during deep sleep, giving your entire circulatory system a much-needed break from the higher pressures of waking hours. Your blood vessels relax, allowing blood to flow more easily and reducing the workload on your heart. This nightly reduction in blood pressure is so important for cardiovascular health that people who don't get enough deep sleep often develop problems with chronically elevated blood pressure. The release of growth hormone reaches its peak during deep sleep. This powerful hormone doesn't just promote growth in children. In adults, it's essential for tissue repair, bone maintenance, and the replacement of worn-out cells throughout your body. During deep sleep, growth hormone floods your system, triggering repair processes in your muscles, organs, and even your skin. This is why adequate deep sleep is so crucial for physical recovery after exercise, illness, or injury. Your immune system becomes remarkably active during deep sleep. While you rest peacefully, your body is producing increased numbers of infection-fighting white blood cells, manufacturing antibodies, and strengthening the cellular defenses that protect you from disease. The proteins that coordinate your immune response are produced in higher quantities during deep sleep, which is why people who don't get enough quality sleep are more susceptible to colds, flu, and other infections. Protein synthesis accelerates dramatically throughout your body during deep sleep. Your cells are busy manufacturing the proteins they need for repair and maintenance. New enzymes to facilitate chemical reactions, structural proteins to maintain cell integrity, and signaling proteins to coordinate cellular communication. This intensive protein production is fueled by the growth hormone released during this stage, creating a powerful synergy of restoration and renewal. Your muscles experience profound relaxation during deep sleep, though this isn't the complete paralysis that will occur during REM sleep later in the night. Instead, your muscles achieve a state of deep rest while still maintaining the ability to shift positions if needed for comfort. Muscle fibers lengthen and relax completely, allowing tension to dissipate fully and giving your muscular system a chance to repair any microscopic damage from the day's activities. Your brain's glymphatic system, its waste removal network, operates at peak efficiency during deep sleep. The space between brain cells actually increases by up to 60% during this stage, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to flow more freely through brain tissue. This increased flow helps wash away metabolic waste products, including proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative conditions. It's like your brain opens wider channels for its nighttime cleaning crew to work more effectively. Memory consolidation reaches new levels of sophistication during deep sleep. While Stage 2 sleep began the process of strengthening important memories, deep sleep takes this work much further. Your brain doesn't just strengthen memories during this stage. It actually reorganizes them, integrating new information with existing knowledge and creating new connections between different pieces of information. This is why you might wake up with solutions to problems that seemed unsolvable the day before, or with new insights into situations you've been pondering. The hippocampus, your brain's primary memory formation center, becomes particularly active during deep sleep. It replays the day's experiences in accelerated fashion, helping to transfer important information from temporary storage to more permanent memory networks distributed throughout your brain. This replay isn't random. Your brain selectively strengthens memories that are deemed important while allowing less significant details to fade away. Temperature regulation becomes even more precise during deep sleep. Your core body temperature reaches its lowest point of the night, carefully regulated to optimize the cellular repair processes taking place throughout your body. Your skin blood vessels remain dilated to release heat, while your internal organs maintain just the right temperature for optimal function. This temperature drop isn't just incidental. It's an active process that helps trigger and maintain the deep sleep state. Your digestive system operates at its slowest pace of the night during deep sleep. Most digestive activity has ceased, allowing your stomach and intestines to focus on their own maintenance and repair. The cells lining your digestive system regenerate during this time, replacing themselves with fresh, healthy tissue. This is one reason why eating late in the evening can be disruptive. It forces your digestive system to remain active when it should be resting and repairing. Hormone production and regulation become carefully orchestrated during deep sleep. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, remains at its lowest levels, allowing your body to fully shift into repair mode. Prolactin levels increase, supporting immune function and tissue repair. Thyroid-stimulating hormone reaches peak levels, helping to regulate your metabolism for the following day. Even hormones involved in appetite regulation are adjusted during deep sleep, helping to maintain healthy eating patterns. The length and quality of your deep sleep periods are influenced by many factors. Physical exhaustion, mental stress, illness, and even the temperature of your sleeping environment can all affect how much time you spend in this crucial stage. Young people typically experience more deep sleep than older adults, but but everyone needs some amount of this restorative stage to maintain optimal health and cognitive function. During deep sleep, you're remarkably difficult to wake up. The sleep spindles and K-complexes that protected your lighter sleep stages are now reinforced by the powerful delta waves that characterize deep sleep. Your brain has essentially closed the gates to consciousness, filtering out all but the most urgent or significant stimuli. A gentle touch might not wake you at all, and even moderately loud sounds might be incorporated into your sleep experience rather than bringing you to wakefulness. This deep state of unconsciousness isn't complete isolation from your environment, though. Your brain maintains enough awareness to respond to truly important stimuli. A smoke alarm, someone calling your name urgently, or a baby crying would likely still wake you. But the threshold for arousal is much higher than in lighter sleep stages, protecting the crucial restoration work taking place. As deep sleep continues, your body makes the most of this precious time. Every system is engaged in repair and renewal. Your liver is processing toxins and regenerating tissue. Your kidneys are filtering waste and maintaining proper fluid balance. Your skin is producing new cells to replace damaged ones, and your bones are incorporating minerals to maintain their strength. It's as if your entire body has become a perfectly coordinated repair facility, working through the night to prepare you for another day of life. The transition out of deep sleep is gradual, just as the entry into it was. Your delta waves slowly begin to give way to the faster rhythms of lighter sleep stages. Your body temperature starts its gentle rise toward morning levels. Your heart rate begins to increase slightly, and your breathing becomes a bit less deep and regular. But even as you begin to shift toward lighter sleep, the benefits of your time in the deep waters continue to unfold throughout your body. While you rest in the depths of sleep, something remarkable is happening inside your brain, a process so important and so fascinating that scientists have only recently begun to understand its full significance. Your brain is cleaning itself, washing away the accumulated waste of a day's worth of thinking, learning, and simply being conscious. This is the work of your brain's glymphatic system, a sophisticated waste removal network that operates most efficiently during the deep stages of sleep. Imagine, if you will, that your brain is like a bustling city that never truly stops its activity. During your waking hours, as billions of neurons fire and communicate with each other, they produce metabolic waste products, the cellular equivalent of exhaust fumes and garbage. These waste products include proteins, cellular debris, and even potentially harmful substances like the amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. During your active day, these waste products accumulate in the spaces between your brain cells, much like trash accumulating on busy city streets. But unlike a city that might wait until morning to send out its garbage trucks, your brain begins its cleaning operation as soon as you enter deep sleep. The glymphatic system, named after the glial cells that help operate it and its similarity to the lymphatic system that cleans the rest of your body, springs into action with remarkable efficiency and precision. The process begins with a dramatic change in the structure of your brain tissue itself. As you sink into deep sleep, the cells in your brain actually shrink slightly, increasing the space between them by as much as 60%. This might sound alarming, but it's actually a carefully orchestrated process that's essential for brain health. These expanded spaces create wider channels for cerebrospinal fluid to flow through your brain tissue, much like opening wider streets to allow emergency vehicles to pass through a city more easily. Cerebrospinal fluid, that clear, colorless liquid that surrounds and cushions your brain and spinal cord, becomes the medium for this nighttime cleaning operation. During deep sleep, this fluid begins to flow through your brain tissue in pulsating waves, driven by the same slow delta brain waves that characterize this stage of sleep. Each delta wave creates a gentle pressure wave that helps push cerebrospinal fluid deeper into brain tissue, carrying away waste products as it flows. The timing of this cleaning process is exquisitely coordinated with your sleep cycles. The slow, synchronized delta waves of deep sleep don't just mark this stage. they actually drive the cleaning process. As millions of neurons fire together in these slow, rhythmic waves, they create the pressure differences that propel cerebrospinal fluid through the expanded spaces between brain cells. It's as if your brain uses its own electrical activity as a pump to drive its waste removal system. This flow of cerebrospinal fluid follows specific pathways through your brain, much like a city's water and sewer systems follow planned routes. The fluid enters brain tissue primarily along blood vessels, flows through the spaces between cells, and then exits along other blood vessels, carrying away the waste products it has collected. The entire process is remarkably efficient, clearing waste from deep within brain tissue that would be difficult to reach through any other mechanism. Among the waste products cleared by this system are some that have particular significance for brain health and aging. Beta-amyloid protein, which forms the plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease, is actively removed during sleep by the glymphatic system. Tau protein, another substance linked to neurodegenerative diseases, is also cleared more efficiently during sleep. This suggests that adequate sleep, particularly deep sleep, may play a crucial role in preventing or delaying the onset of these devastating conditions. The glymphatic system also clears away the general metabolic waste produced by normal brain activity. During your waking hours, as your neurons consume glucose and oxygen to power their activity, they produce waste products like lactate and carbon dioxide. These substances need to be removed to maintain optimal brain function, and the glymphatic system provides an efficient mechanism for their clearance during sleep. Research has shown that the efficiency of glymphatic clearance can be influenced by several factors. Sleep position, for instance, appears to matter. Studies suggest that sleeping on your side may allow for more efficient waste clearance than sleeping on your back or stomach. The quality and depth of your sleep also affect the process. Disrupted sleep or insufficient deep sleep can reduce the efficiency of glymphatic clearance, potentially allowing waste products to accumulate over time. Age also affects the glymphatic system's efficiency. As people get older, the system tends to become less effective, which may partly explain why sleep quality often declines with age and why older adults have higher risks for neurodegenerative diseases. However, maintaining good sleep habits throughout life can help preserve glymphatic function and may contribute to healthier brain aging. The discovery of the glymphatic system has revolutionized our understanding of why sleep is so essential for brain health. It's not just that sleep allows your brain to rest. It's that sleep enables your brain to actively maintain itself through this sophisticated cleaning process. Without adequate sleep, particularly deep sleep, this cleaning system can't operate efficiently, potentially leading to the accumulation of harmful waste products over time. The process isn't limited to waste removal, though. The flow of cerebrospinal fluid during sleep also helps distribute nutrients throughout brain tissue, ensuring that all areas of your brain receive the substances they need for optimal function. Glucose, amino acids, and other essential nutrients are carried deeper into brain tissue by the same fluid currents that remove waste products. The glymphatic system also plays a role in regulating the balance of fluids and electrolytes in your brain. The composition of cerebrospinal fluid is carefully regulated, and its circulation during sleep helps maintain the proper chemical environment for optimal brain function. This includes maintaining the right pH levels, ion concentrations, and osmotic balance that neurons need to function properly. Interestingly, the glymphatic system appears to be more active during certain stages of sleep than others. While it operates throughout the night, it's most efficient during the deep, slow-wave sleep stages when delta brain waves are most prominent. This provides yet another reason why deep sleep is so crucial for brain health and cognitive function. The system's activity is also influenced by your arousal state and stress levels. High levels of stress hormones like cortisol can reduce glymphatic function, while the relaxed state of deep sleep optimizes it. This creates a beneficial cycle. Good sleep promotes efficient brain cleaning, which in turn supports better sleep quality and overall brain health. Recent research has also suggested that the glymphatic system may be involved in the regulation of sleep itself. The accumulation of certain waste products in the brain during waking hours may contribute to the growing sleep pressure you feel as the day progresses. By clearing these substances during sleep, the glymphatic system may help reset your brain's readiness for another period of wakefulness. The implications of glymphatic system research extend far beyond basic science. Understanding how this system works has opened new avenues for treating and preventing neurodegenerative diseases, sleep disorders, and even traumatic brain injuries. Researchers are exploring ways to enhance glymphatic function through various interventions, from sleep optimization to physical therapies. As you rest now in the depths of sleep, this remarkable cleaning system is hard at work, quietly and efficiently maintaining your brain for optimal function. Each slow wave of deep sleep drives another pulse of cleansing fluid through your neural tissue, washing away the day's accumulated waste and preparing your brain for another day of thinking, learning, and experiencing the world around you. It's a process that's been operating every night of your life, usually without your awareness, but always essential for maintaining the incredible organ that makes you who you are. After hours of deep, restorative sleep, your brain begins to stir in preparation for something truly extraordinary. You're about to enter REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, perhaps the most mysterious and fascinating stage of your nightly journey. If the deep sleep stages were like sinking into healing waters, REM sleep is like emerging into a vivid, impossible world where the normal rules of reality no longer apply, where your mind becomes both playwright and audience in a theater of dreams. The transition into REM sleep is remarkable to observe, even from the outside. If someone were watching you now, they would see your eyes begin to move rapidly beneath closed lids, darting back and forth, up and down, as if you were watching an invisible movie playing out in the darkness behind your eyelids. These rapid eye movements give this stage its name, and they're one of the most distinctive and easily recognizable signs that REM sleep has begun. But the eye movements are just the most visible sign of the dramatic changes taking place throughout your brain and body. Your brain waves, which have been dominated by the slow, rolling delta waves of deep sleep, suddenly shift to a pattern that looks remarkably similar to waking consciousness. Beta and gamma waves return, creating the fast, complex electrical patterns that characterize an active, alert brain. Yet you remain deeply asleep, lost in the vivid narratives that your mind is now creating. This paradox, a brain that appears almost awake while the body remains asleep, is why REM sleep is sometimes called paradoxical sleep. Your brain is consuming almost as much energy as it does during waking hours, processing information, creating complex scenarios, and generating the rich sensory experiences that we call dreams. It's as if your brain has decided to put on an elaborate theatrical performance, complete with detailed sets, complex characters, and intricate plot lines, all for an audience of one. The dreams that emerge during REM sleep have a quality unlike any other human experience. They can be vivid beyond anything you experience while awake, filled with colors more brilliant than reality, sounds more clear and meaningful than any waking conversation, and emotions more intense than your daily life typically provides. In dreams, you might fly through impossible landscapes, converse with people who died years ago, or find yourself in situations that blend memories from decades apart into seamless, if surreal, narratives. What's remarkable about these dream experiences is how completely convincing they seem while they're happening. Your brain, freed from the constraints of sensory input from the external world, creates its own reality with such conviction that even the most bizarre dream events seem perfectly normal and logical while you're experiencing them. You might dream that you're having a serious conversation with your childhood pet, or that you're late for an exam in a school you haven't attended for decades, and these scenarios feel completely reasonable within the dream context. The content of REM dreams often reflects the day's experiences, but in transformed and symbolic ways. The presentation you gave at work might become a performance on a grand stage. A conversation with a friend might transform into an elaborate adventure in which you're both searching for something important together. Your brain takes the raw material of recent experiences and weaves it into new narratives, often combining elements from different time periods and contexts in ways that reveal hidden connections and meanings. While your mind creates these elaborate dream scenarios, your body undergoes its own dramatic transformation. Most of your voluntary muscles become temporarily paralyzed, a condition called REM atonia. This paralysis is actually a protective mechanism, preventing you from physically acting out your dreams. Your brain sends the same motor commands it would during waking movement, but these signals are blocked at the level of your spinal cord, ensuring that when you dream about running or fighting or dancing, your physical body remains safely still. This muscle paralysis is so complete that if you could be awakened suddenly from REM sleep, you might experience a few moments of being unable to move, a temporary but harmless condition that demonstrates just how thoroughly your brain has disconnected from your voluntary muscle control. The paralysis affects almost all of your skeletal muscles, but notably spares your diaphragm and other muscles essential for breathing, ensuring that your vital functions continue uninterrupted. Your breathing during REM sleep becomes irregular and variable, quite different from the steady, rhythmic breathing of deep sleep. Sometimes your breathing might quicken, matching the excitement of a dream adventure. Other times it might slow as your dream self relaxes in some peaceful scenario. Your breathing pattern often reflects the emotional content of your dreams, speeding up during exciting or frightening dream sequences and slowing during calm or peaceful dream moments. Your heart rate also becomes more variable during REM sleep, rising and falling in response to the emotional content of your dreams. If you're dreaming about something exciting or stressful, your heart might race just as it would if you were actually experiencing that situation while awake. This physiological responsiveness to dream content demonstrates just how real these experiences are to your brain, even though they're entirely generated internally. Blood pressure fluctuates during REM sleep as well, often rising above the low levels maintained during deep sleep. Your cardiovascular system responds to dream emotions and scenarios almost as if they were really happening. This is why people with certain heart conditions are sometimes advised to manage their sleep quality carefully. The cardiovascular activation during REM sleep, while normal and healthy for most people, can occasionally be challenging for those with pre-existing heart problems. Temperature regulation becomes less precise during REM sleep. Your body's ability to maintain its core temperature in response to environmental changes is reduced, making you more sensitive to the temperature of your sleeping environment. This is why the temperature of your bedroom can have such a significant impact on your sleep quality. If your room is too warm or too cool, it's likely to be most disruptive during REM sleep periods. The timing of REM sleep is carefully orchestrated by your brain's sleep control systems. Early in the night, REM periods are relatively short and infrequent, separated by long periods of deep sleep. But as the night progresses, REM periods become longer and more frequent, while deep sleep periods become shorter. By the final hours of your night's sleep, you might spend long stretches in REM sleep, experiencing elaborate, memorable dreams that often persist right up until the moment you wake up. This changing pattern of REM sleep throughout the night serves important functions. The longer REM periods late in the night appear to be particularly important for memory consolidation and emotional processing. During these extended REM periods, your brain has more time to work through complex emotional experiences, process difficult memories, and integrate new information with existing knowledge networks. Memory consolidation during REM sleep takes on a different character than the memory processing that occurs during deep sleep. While deep sleep appears to strengthen memories and transfer them to long-term storage, REM sleep seems to focus more on creating connections between different memories and experiences. It's during REM sleep that your brain might connect a problem you encountered at work with a similar situation from your childhood, or link a new skill you're learning with existing knowledge in ways that enhance your understanding. The emotional processing that occurs during REM sleep is particularly important for psychological health. Dreams provide a safe space for your mind to work through challenging emotions, process traumatic experiences, and explore different responses to difficult situations. The bizarre, often symbolic nature of dreams allows your brain to approach sensitive topics indirectly, processing emotions and memories in ways that might be too overwhelming to handle directly. Research has shown that people who are deprived of REM sleep often experience emotional difficulties, increased anxiety, and problems with memory consolidation. This demonstrates just how crucial this stage of sleep is for both cognitive and emotional well-being. The dreams that might seem strange or meaningless upon waking are actually performing essential psychological maintenance, helping to keep your mind balanced and resilient. The neurotransmitter environment of your brain changes dramatically during REM sleep. Norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin, chemicals that play crucial roles in mood, attention, and arousal during waking hours, are significantly reduced during REM sleep. Meanwhile, acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter important for learning and memory, becomes more active. This unique chemical environment creates the perfect conditions for the memory consolidation and emotional processing that characterize REM sleep. As REM sleep continues, your brain essentially creates its own entertainment, its own virtual reality experience that can be more vivid and emotionally engaging than anything you experience while awake. Characters from your past appear and interact in impossible ways. Places blend and transform into hybrid locations that somehow feel familiar despite being completely imaginary. Time moves in dream logic, where events from different decades might occur simultaneously, or where a single dream moment might feel like it lasts for hours. The creativity that emerges during REM sleep is remarkable. Many artists, writers, scientists, and inventors have reported receiving inspiration from their dreams. The unique state of consciousness during REM sleep, where logical constraints are relaxed and unexpected connections are freely made, creates ideal conditions for creative insights and novel solutions to problems. Your dreaming mind might solve puzzles that stump your waking consciousness or generate creative ideas that you never would have considered while awake. While your mind journeys through the landscapes of REM sleep, your body continues its own remarkable work during the nighttime hours. Think of your sleeping body as a vast industrial complex that shifts into night mode. Different departments take precedence. Maintenance crews work throughout the facility, and essential processes that can't operate efficiently during the busy day shift finally get their chance to perform their crucial functions. Your endocrine system, the network of glands that produce and regulate hormones, becomes particularly active during sleep, orchestrating a complex symphony of chemical messages that coordinate repair, growth, and restoration throughout your body. This hormonal activity follows precise timing, with different hormones rising and falling according to carefully programmed schedules that have been refined over millions of years of evolution. Growth hormone, perhaps the most important of sleep's hormonal players, reaches its peak production during the deep sleep stages you experienced earlier in the night. But its effects continue throughout your sleep period, stimulating cellular repair and regeneration in tissues throughout your body. In children and adolescents, this hormone literally fuels physical growth, but in adults, it serves the equally important function of maintaining and repairing the body's tissues. Muscles damaged by exercise are rebuilt stronger, wounds heal more quickly, and worn-out cells are replaced with fresh, healthy ones. The release of growth hormone during sleep is so significant that people who don't get adequate deep sleep often show signs of accelerated aging and slower recovery from injuries or illnesses. This hormone doesn't just repair existing tissues. It also stimulates the production of new cells, helping to maintain the constant turnover of cellular material that keeps your body functioning optimally. Your skin, your muscles, your organs, and even your bones benefit from this nightly surge of growth hormone. Cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone, follows its own carefully timed schedule during sleep. During the early part of the night, cortisol levels drop to their lowest point, allowing your body to fully shift away from the alert, responsive state of daytime and into the restorative mode of sleep. This reduction in cortisol is essential for deep sleep and for the optimal function of your immune system, which works best when stress hormones are low. But cortisol doesn't stay low all night. In the hours before your natural wake time, cortisol levels begin to rise gradually, preparing your body for the energy demands of the coming day. This natural cortisol rise helps regulate your blood sugar, mobilizes energy stores, and begins to prepare your cardiovascular system for the increased activity of waking hours. It's like your body's internal alarm clock, starting to wake up your systems even before your conscious mind begins to stir. Your immune system undergoes remarkable changes during sleep, transforming from its daytime surveillance mode into an intensive production and training operation. During sleep, your bone marrow increases its production of white blood cells, the soldiers of your immune system that fight off infections and diseases. These newly produced immune cells are released into your bloodstream, ready to seek out and destroy any threats they might encounter. The lymph nodes throughout your body become particularly active during sleep, serving as training grounds where new immune cells learn to recognize and respond to potential threats. At the same time, your spleen works overtime to filter and clean your blood, removing old or damaged red blood cells and recycling their components for use in building new, healthy cells. Sleep also enhances the production of antibodies, the specialized proteins that help your immune system remember and respond more quickly to threats it has encountered before. This is why getting adequate sleep is so important when you're fighting off an infection or after receiving vaccination. Your sleeping immune system takes the information it has gathered about threats and uses it to build stronger, more effective defenses. The inflammatory processes in your body also shift during sleep. While some inflammation is necessary for healing and immune function, chronic inflammation can be harmful to your health. Sleep helps regulate these inflammatory processes, reducing harmful inflammation while maintaining the beneficial inflammatory responses needed for healing and protection. Your digestive system undergoes its own transformation during the night shift. With no new food to process, your stomach and intestines can focus on maintenance and repair. The cells lining your digestive tract, which work hard during the day to break down food and absorb nutrients, take this opportunity to regenerate and renew themselves. This cellular turnover is essential for maintaining a healthy digestive system. Your liver, perhaps the hardest working organ in your body, uses the nighttime hours for intensive detoxification and metabolic processing. During sleep, your liver can focus on breaking down and eliminating toxins that have accumulated during the day, processing medications you may have taken, and converting stored energy into forms your body can use efficiently. The liver also works during sleep to regulate your blood sugar levels, releasing glucose when needed to fuel your brain and other organs. Fat metabolism becomes particularly active during sleep. Your body preferentially burns fat for energy during the nighttime hours, helping to maintain healthy body weight and providing a steady supply of energy for the various repair and maintenance processes taking place throughout your body. This fat-burning process is one reason why adequate sleep is important for weight management and metabolic health. Your kidneys increase their activity during sleep, filtering your blood more intensively and producing the concentrated urine that allows you to sleep through the night without frequent bathroom visits. This increased kidney function helps remove waste products and excess fluids from your body, contributing to the overall detoxification that occurs during sleep. Protein synthesis reaches peak activity throughout your body during sleep. Every organ, every muscle, every tissue in your body is busy manufacturing the proteins it needs for optimal function. New enzymes are produced to catalyze the chemical reactions essential for life. Structural proteins are manufactured to repair and strengthen tissues. Signaling proteins are created to facilitate communication between cells and organs. Your cardiovascular system uses the nighttime hours for its own maintenance and repair. With your heart rate and blood pressure at their lowest levels, your heart muscle itself gets a chance to rest and recover from the day's work. Blood vessels throughout your body undergo repair processes, maintaining their flexibility and strength. The reduced cardiovascular demands of sleep allow your circulatory system to focus on maintenance rather than just meeting the immediate demands of active tissues. Bone metabolism becomes particularly active during sleep. Your bones are living tissues that constantly break down and rebuild themselves, and much of this activity occurs during the nighttime hours. Bone-building cells called osteoblasts work to deposit new calcium and other minerals, strengthening your skeleton and repairing any microscopic damage that may have occurred during daily activities. This is why adequate sleep is important for bone health, particularly in children who are still growing and in older adults who may be at risk for bone loss. Your skin undergoes extensive repair and regeneration during sleep. New skin cells are produced to replace those that have been damaged by sun exposure, pollution, or normal wear and tear. Collagen production increases, helping to maintain skin elasticity and reduce the signs of aging. This is why people often refer to beauty sleep. There's real science behind the idea that adequate sleep helps maintain healthy, youthful-looking skin. The reproductive system also responds to sleep's hormonal changes. In women, several hormones involved in reproductive function are regulated during sleep, including those that control the menstrual cycle and fertility. In men, testosterone production peaks during sleep, particularly during REM sleep periods. This nighttime hormone production is essential for maintaining reproductive health and sexual function. Your brain, while busy with the dream activities of REM sleep and the cleaning operations we discussed earlier, also continues its own structural maintenance during sleep. Myelin, the fatty substance that insulates nerve fibers and helps speed up neural communication, is produced and maintained during sleep. New neural connections formed during learning and experience are strengthened and stabilized, while unnecessary connections are pruned away to maintain optimal brain function. The coordination of all these nighttime processes is remarkable. Your body operates like a perfectly orchestrated factory during sleep, with each system knowing exactly when to begin its specific tasks and how to coordinate with other systems to maximize efficiency. Hormones serve as the communication network, carrying messages between different organs and tissues to ensure that all the night shift work proceeds smoothly and effectively. This is why sleep quality is so important. It's not just about feeling rested the next day, but about giving your body the time and conditions it needs to perform this essential maintenance work. Poor sleep or insufficient sleep doesn't just leave you tired. It disrupts these crucial repair and regeneration processes, potentially affecting everything from your immune function to your skin health to your ability to maintain a healthy weight. As you continue through your night's sleep, these processes continue their quiet, essential work, preparing your body for another day of life, activity, and experience. Every cell in your body benefits from this nightly renewal, emerging refreshed and restored, ready to serve you faithfully through whatever challenges and adventures the new day might bring. Throughout this long night's journey, you haven't simply moved through the stages of sleep once and then remained in deep slumber until morning. Instead, your brain has been conducting an intricate dance, cycling through the different stages of sleep in a pattern as precise and rhythmic as the tides. This cycling journey repeats itself several times throughout the night, each cycle lasting roughly 90 to 110 minutes, creating a symphony of sleep that unfolds in movements, each with its own character and purpose. Understanding this cycling nature of sleep helps explain why some nights feel more restful than others, why you might wake up naturally at certain times, and why the timing of when you fall asleep can have such a profound impact on how you feel in the morning. Your sleep is not a single, uniform state, but rather a carefully orchestrated progression through different types of consciousness and restoration, each serving essential functions for your physical and mental well-being. The first sleep cycle of a night typically begins with that gentle transition through stage 1 sleep that you experienced earlier, the threshold state where consciousness begins to fade and hypnagogic experiences emerge. From there, you moved into stage 2 sleep with its protective sleep spindles and K-complexes, then descended into the deep, restorative waters of stage 3 slow-wave sleep. After spending substantial time in these deep sleep stages, your brain then shifted into the first REM period of the night. This first REM period is usually brief, perhaps just 5 to 10 minutes, but it marks the completion of your first sleep cycle. As this initial REM period ends, your brain doesn't simply wake you up. Instead, it begins the cycle anew, transitioning back through the lighter stages of sleep and potentially returning to deep sleep for another round of restoration and repair. But here's where the night's journey becomes particularly fascinating. Each subsequent sleep cycle is different from the ones that came before. As the night progresses, the character and duration of each stage within the cycles gradually shifts, reflecting your body's changing needs as the hours pass. Early in the night, when your need for physical restoration is greatest, you spend more time in the deep sleep stages. Later in the night, as your body's repair work nears completion, REM sleep periods become longer and more frequent. By the second sleep cycle, you might notice that the deep sleep period is somewhat shorter than it was in the first cycle, while the REM period at the end lasts a bit longer. This pattern continues throughout the night, with each cycle containing less deep sleep and more REM sleep than the one before. By the final cycles of the night, you might spend very little time in deep sleep at all, instead cycling between lighter sleep stages and increasingly long, vivid REM periods. This shifting pattern serves important biological functions. The heavy concentration of deep sleep early in the night allows your body to complete the most intensive physical restoration work when your energy reserves are highest and your need for repair is greatest. As these physical needs are met, your brain can devote more time to the memory consolidation, emotional processing, and neural maintenance that occur primarily during REM sleep. The timing of these cycles also explains why you might naturally wake up at certain times during the night. Sleep cycles don't end abruptly. They transition through periods of lighter sleep that create natural windows for awakening. If something needs to wake you up, it's most likely to succeed during these lighter phases between cycles. This is why you might wake up naturally after about 6 hours of sleep, roughly 4 complete cycles, or after 7.5 hours, about 5 cycles, even without an alarm clock. Understanding your natural sleep cycles can help explain why sometimes you wake up feeling refreshed after just 6 hours of sleep, while other times 8 hours leaves you feeling groggy and disoriented. If you wake up during a period of light sleep between cycles, you're likely to feel alert and rested. But if you wake up in the middle of deep sleep or during an intense REM period, you might feel confused, sluggish, or emotionally unsettled. The length of individual sleep cycles can vary somewhat from person to person and even from night to night in the same person. Factors like age, stress levels, alcohol consumption, medications, and even the temperature of your sleeping environment can all influence the duration and quality of your sleep cycles. Young children typically have shorter cycles and spend more time in deep sleep, while older adults often experience longer cycles with less deep sleep and more frequent awakenings between cycles. Stress and anxiety can significantly disrupt the normal cycling pattern of sleep. When you're stressed, your body produces more cortisol and other stress hormones, which can make it difficult to enter and maintain deep sleep. This might cause you to spend more time in the lighter stages of sleep and experience more frequent awakenings between cycles. Over time, this disruption of normal sleep cycling can affect both physical and mental health. Physical factors also influence your sleep cycles. Regular exercise tends to promote deeper sleep and more robust cycling patterns, while a sedentary lifestyle might result in lighter, more fragmented sleep. The timing of exercise matters too. Vigorous activity too close to bedtime can disrupt the natural progression into deep sleep, while regular exercise earlier in the day tends to enhance sleep quality. Your diet and eating patterns can affect sleep cycling as well. Large meals close to bedtime can interfere with the normal progression into deep sleep, as your digestive system remains active when it should be entering its own rest phase. Caffeine consumed even many hours before bedtime can reduce the amount of deep sleep you experience and alter the normal cycling pattern. Alcohol, while it might help you fall asleep initially, often disrupts sleep cycles later in the night, reducing REM sleep and causing more frequent awakenings. The environment in which you sleep plays a crucial role in maintaining healthy sleep cycles. Temperature is particularly important. A room that's too warm can prevent you from entering deep sleep effectively, while a room that's too cool might cause frequent awakenings as your body works to maintain its core temperature. Light exposure, even small amounts from electronic devices or street lights, can interfere with the natural progression of sleep cycles by affecting melatonin production. Sound can also impact sleep cycling. While you might become accustomed to steady background noises like air conditioning or traffic, sudden or irregular sounds can cause brief awakenings that fragment your sleep cycles, even if you don't fully wake up. These micro-awakenings can prevent you from getting the full benefit of each sleep stage, leaving you feeling less rested despite spending adequate time in bed. As you move through multiple sleep cycles during the night, your brain is essentially creating a customized restoration program based on your individual needs. If you've been physically active during the day, your early cycles might include extra deep sleep to support muscle recovery and tissue repair. If you've been learning new information or dealing with emotional stress, your later cycles might feature extended REM periods to support memory consolidation and emotional processing. This adaptive quality of sleep cycles demonstrates the remarkable intelligence of your sleep system. Your brain continuously monitors your body's needs and adjusts the sleep program accordingly. It's not following a rigid script, but rather responding dynamically to provide exactly the type and amount of restoration you need most. The cycling nature of sleep also helps explain why naps can be either refreshing or leave you feeling worse. A short nap of 20 to 30 minutes might allow you to complete just the lighter stages of a sleep cycle, leaving you refreshed without the grogginess that can come from waking up during deep sleep. But a longer nap that takes you into deep sleep stages might leave you feeling disoriented if you wake up before completing a full cycle. Throughout each cycle, your autonomic nervous system makes continuous adjustments to support the different stages of sleep. Heart rate and blood pressure rise and fall with the cycling pattern. Breathing becomes more regular during deep sleep phases and more variable during REM periods. Body temperature fluctuates in coordination with the cycles, dropping during deep sleep and becoming less regulated during REM sleep. Hormone production also follows the cycling pattern of sleep. Growth hormone surges are timed to coincide with deep sleep periods, while cortisol begins its gradual rise during the later sleep cycles to prepare for morning awakening. Other hormones involved in appetite regulation, immune function, and cellular repair are also released according to precise timing within the sleep cycles. The remarkable coordination of all these physiological processes with the cycling pattern of sleep stages demonstrates just how fundamental sleep is to human biology. Every system in your body has evolved to take advantage of these regular periods of rest and restoration, timing their most intensive maintenance and repair work to coincide with the appropriate sleep stages. As you lie there now, you might be in any stage of your sleep cycles, perhaps cycling through a period of light sleep, preparing to enter another round of deep restoration, or experiencing the vivid dreams of an extended REM period. Whatever stage you're in, your body and brain are working together in perfect coordination, following ancient patterns refined over millions of years of evolution to provide exactly what you need for optimal health and well-being. As the night slowly gives way to dawn, something beautiful and complex begins to unfold within your sleeping body. You haven't yet opened your eyes, haven't yet stirred to full consciousness, but already your internal systems are beginning the gentle, gradual process of transition from sleep to wakefulness. This isn't an abrupt awakening. It's a carefully orchestrated return to the waking world, guided by the same biological wisdom that led you into sleep hours ago. Your circadian rhythm, that master timekeeper deep in your brain, has been quietly monitoring the passage of time throughout the night. Even in the depths of sleep, your suprachiasmatic nucleus has maintained its vigilant watch, tracking the Earth's rotation and preparing for the approaching dawn. As morning approaches, this biological clock begins to trigger the complex sequence of changes that will gradually bring you back to wakefulness. The first sign of approaching awakening often occurs while you're still deep in sleep. Your core body temperature, which reached its lowest point during the deep sleep hours, begins its slow, steady rise toward normal waking levels. This temperature increase is so gradual that you don't consciously notice it, but it signals to every cell in your body that the restorative work of night is nearing completion and the active phase of day is approaching. Cortisol, your body's natural awakening hormone, begins its gentle ascent in the early morning hours. Unlike the abrupt spike that might occur if you were startled awake by an alarm, this natural cortisol rise is gradual and progressive, slowly building the energy and alertness you'll need for the day ahead. This hormone doesn't just make you feel more awake. It mobilizes energy stores throughout your body, increases blood sugar levels, and prepares your cardiovascular system for increased activity. Your sleep cycles during these final hours of night take on a different character than those earlier in your rest. Deep sleep becomes less frequent and shorter in duration, while REM periods extend and intensify. You might experience some of your most vivid and memorable dreams during these early morning REM periods, as your brain processes the emotional and cognitive material of recent days while simultaneously preparing for the waking consciousness that approaches. Growth hormone production, which peaked during your earlier deep sleep periods, begins to taper off as your body's most intensive repair work nears completion. But this doesn't mean that restoration stops. Instead, it shifts toward the finishing touches, the final adjustments that will leave you refreshed and renewed for the day ahead. Protein synthesis continues throughout your body, putting the final structural elements in place for newly repaired tissues. Your immune system makes its final adjustments of the night during these pre-dawn hours. The white blood cells produced during your sleep are distributed throughout your circulatory system, ready to patrol for any threats they might encounter during your active day. Antibody production reaches its completion, leaving you with enhanced defenses against infections and diseases. The glymphatic system that has been cleaning your brain throughout the night begins to reduce its intensive activity, though it doesn't stop entirely. The spaces between brain cells start to return toward their normal daytime size, and the flow of cerebrospinal fluid begins to slow. But the benefits of this nightly cleaning continue. Your brain emerges from sleep with reduced levels of waste proteins and improved cellular function. Your breathing begins to shift subtly as morning approaches. The deep, regular breathing of sleep becomes slightly less pronounced, and your respiratory rate may increase marginally as your body prepares for the increased oxygen demands of waking activity. These changes are so gradual that they don't disturb your sleep, but they prime your respiratory system for the transition to wakefulness. Your heart rate also begins a slow, steady increase from its nighttime low. This isn't the rapid acceleration that would occur with a sudden awakening, but rather a gentle preparation for the cardiovascular demands of an active day. Blood pressure rises gradually, ensuring adequate circulation as your body systems begin to shift from their nighttime maintenance mode to their daytime operational status. The final REM periods of morning sleep often produce the dreams you're most likely to remember upon awakening. These dreams might incorporate sounds from your awakening environment, perhaps the distant sound of traffic, birds singing outside your window, or even the preparation sounds of others beginning their day. Your brain, preparing for the return of consciousness, begins to process external stimuli even while you remain asleep, sometimes weaving these sounds into elaborate dream narratives. Light, even filtered through curtains or eyelids, begins to influence your awakening process. Your eyes, though closed, can detect the gradual increase in illumination that comes with dawn. This light information travels to your circadian rhythm centers, providing confirmation that the time for awakening is indeed approaching and helping to fine-tune the timing of your natural wake response. Melatonin production, which peaked during your darkest sleep hours, begins its gradual decline as light levels increase and your internal clock signals the approach of day. This decline isn't abrupt. It's a gentle tapering off that allows your consciousness to return gradually rather than experiencing the jarring transition that artificial awakening might cause. Your muscles begin to regain their normal tone during these transitional hours. The deep relaxation of sleep gradually gives way to the muscle tension needed for movement and activity. This process is so subtle that you might not notice it, but your body is quietly preparing itself for the physical demands of another day of life. Memory consolidation processes reach their completion during these final hours of sleep. The information processing that began in earlier sleep stages is finalized, with important memories fully integrated into your long-term knowledge networks and unnecessary details allowed to fade away. You may wake with solutions to problems that puzzled you the day before, or with new insights into situations you've been pondering. Your digestive system begins to prepare for the day's first meal. Digestive enzymes are prepared, and your stomach begins to anticipate the food it will soon process. Your liver completes its overnight detoxification work and prepares to handle the metabolic demands of digestion and energy production for active hours. The lymphatic system, which has been working throughout the night to clean and maintain your body's tissues, begins to prepare for the increased circulation that will come with movement and activity. The benefits of the night's cleaning work will become apparent as you move through your day with renewed energy and vitality. As these physiological changes unfold, your brain begins its own preparation for consciousness. Neural networks that were quiet during sleep start to show increased activity. The brain regions responsible for attention, decision-making, and interaction with the external world begin to come online, while the dream-generating networks of REM sleep gradually quiet their activity. The transition from sleep to wakefulness is one of the most remarkable transformations your body undergoes regularly. In the span of just a few minutes, you shift from the internal focus of sleep to the external awareness of waking consciousness. Systems that have been dedicated to repair and restoration pivot to supporting activity and engagement with the world around you. When natural awakening occurs, without the jarring interruption of an alarm clock, this transition is smooth and gentle. You might become gradually aware of your surroundings, notice the quality of light in your room, or simply find yourself naturally emerging from sleep feeling refreshed and alert. This natural awakening respects the careful preparation your body has been making and allows you to enter your day with energy and clarity. Your eyes might flutter open gradually, adjusting slowly to the morning light. Your breathing deepens as your lungs prepare for increased activity. Your heart settles into its waking rhythm, strong and steady, ready to support whatever the day might bring. Every system in your body has been renewed and restored, cleaned and repaired, prepared and optimized for another day of living. This is the gift that sleep provides, not just rest from the previous day's activities, but active preparation for the day ahead. Every cell in your body has been tended to during the night hours. Your immune system is stronger, your muscles are repaired, your brain is cleaner and more efficient, and your emotional resilience has been restored. As consciousness fully returns, you might take a moment to appreciate the remarkable journey your body and mind have just completed. Without any conscious effort on your part, you have undergone one of the most complex and beneficial processes in human biology. You have been restored, renewed, and prepared for whatever challenges and joys the new day might hold. And as you prepare to rise and begin another day, remember that tonight, this entire beautiful process will begin again. Your body will once more prepare for sleep, descend through the stages of rest and restoration, cycle through the night's restorative work, and emerge renewed once more. It's a gift that repeats itself every single day of your life, a biological inheritance that connects you to every human who has ever lived and dreamed and awakened refreshed to face another day. For now, though, let yourself rest in this moment of transition, appreciating the profound work that has been accomplished during your night's sleep. Whether you're listening to these words in the early hours of morning or settling in for your own night's rest, take comfort in knowing that your body possesses this incredible wisdom, this capacity for nightly renewal that prepares you for all the adventures that await in the light of day. Sleep well, rest deeply, and awaken refreshed, knowing that you have experienced one of the most remarkable and beneficial processes in all of human biology. Sweet dreams and gentle awakening when the time is right.